Project Reality is a special game, and I want to talk about why this game is so special, and despite after 15 years of development that's still ongoing, the game will still see at least one full server continuously every single day. I should also clarify that on August the 9th, 2021, there was no video uploaded onto this channel. I know that video was terrible, and to add salt to the wounds, the official PR channel commented on it, and I honestly just want to apologize. I hope this video is better. But for those of you who are unaware, Project Reality is a combined arms tactical shooter built originally as a mod for my personal favorite Battlefield back in 2004, and it eventually became its own standalone game. The reason why it was originally made, it was because Battlefield 2 had a solid foundation to expand on, and making it more hardcore and realistic was something that the modders wanted to do. Obviously, the target audience for this mod isn't people who are on the casual side and experience the unrealistic aspects of Battlefield, but it caters to people who want a teamwork focused game. Some of the notable features of this game is that it can hold up to 100 players per server, which I find is a good number. It doesn't feel too little like a 64 player server, but it doesn't get too chaotic with over 128 or even over 200 player servers like in other games that I have played. It has local team and squad VoIP. Now I want to ask you a question. What are your thoughts on the enemy team being able to hear local VoIP? I like it in games such as BattleBit because of the shit talk is just hilariously funny, but from a realism perspective, I'm not going to be able to understand what a Taliban soldier is speaking in Arabic, nor is he going to understand English. But VoIP is one of the most useful tools in this game. Sometimes you'll have dedicated squads that can speak a certain language such as Portuguese, and you'll have morons like me joining that squad saying some nonsense in French and then leaving. But I personally believe a mediocre team, which such as myself, I'm not the best player, but that tries to work together and communicate with their teammates would do better than a team with above average players, but they're just going about doing their own thing and not having any coordination whatsoever.
Who's up at the top of the hill?
I need help, I need help, I need help.
Are they in the tents?
One of them's in the tents, the one that's closest to you. I threw a nade in there, so I might have gotten him.
You can spam the tents too, like through the walls and shit. Ooh, I just heard AA fire from right fucking here. Is that you in that other tent? Yeah.
That's me, yep.
And I find this a good aspect of my team. Even though I'm not the best when it comes to combat, I still feel like I'm helping my team by being there, by either reviving, building stuff, transporting stuff. But one of my favorite things about this game, which I'll elaborate more in a second, is the sheer amount of content you have. You've got the Vietnam War, World War II, Chechen, Russian War, Israel, Iraq, Afghanistan, Falklands. I have to stop there, otherwise I'll get demonetized, but unless you're into World War I or the American Civil War, and what I consider to be the Great War, not that Great War, this one, then you will be satisfied. But if you've played Squad, a lot of elements from Project Reality are in that game, but that is because some of the people that worked on Project Reality went to make Squad. And that is also a game that I'm having lots of fun lately, especially since I treat it as if it's like a Euro Truck Simulator Afghanistan expansion pack, because I just keep on doing logi runs and I'll either run over a mine, get ambushed, or get blown up by a tank. It's stupid, but I have a lot of fun doing it. However, this has caused some arguments between people that play Squad and people that play Project Reality. Now, I'm not going to say which one is better, because I love both games. They each serve their purpose. But a criticism that people that play PR have of Squad is that some of the design decisions in Squad, such as unlimited sprints, more accurate weapons, make the gameplay feel a little bit more on the arcade side of things, because the recoil in Project Reality is pretty intense. Like, your gun doesn't sway, but you'll miss shots and bullets will go everywhere, but that's also because weapon sway isn't simulated. But I understand the purpose of the recoil is to make you not feel like this invincible soldier who can land shots hundreds of meters away. Sure, it can get absolutely frustrating at times, especially when you miss shots point blank, but I do understand the purpose of the recoil system. But in terms of the whole debate on whether it's real or not, then I can't actually tell you. And you know, I know that a lot of you are soldiers, and if you could comment on that, I'd love to hear it. You can play PR with bots or with multiplayer co-op, but the game shines when playing in those 100 player servers. But you have a couple of game modes to play with, and some of them have some unique features to them. A little fun fact about the AAS game mode, this was first apparently seen in a game called Joint Operations Revelations Typhoon, which was released back in 2004. But if you don't know how this game mode is played out, similar to Conquest, you have flags or objective zones, and the more of them you have, the more your opponent's tickets will bleed. However, you can't just go to the last flag and cap it. It has to be done in a linear fashion. But my favorite game mode has to be Insurgency, and I almost never play it in Squad for some reason, but I love it in PR. Basically, you either play as a coalition faction or an insurgents faction. As the coalition faction, you must search and destroy these alleged WMDs. I apologize once again, I am reading the wrong manual. Weapon caches. Yes, weapon caches that are stored throughout the map. The coalition loses tickets when a soldier gives up or an asset is destroyed, and your main objective is to gather intel so you can reveal these cache locations and destroy them. As the insurgents, you must defend these caches, and if one of them is destroyed, then you will lose tickets. Some of the ways that you can gather intel is by killing an insurgent that is within 300 meters of a cache, as well as arresting civilians. The civilians is what I think makes this game mode unique in my opinion, because you can play as somewhat of a spy by acting as recon for your fighting units. You can be a distraction by throwing rocks at the coalition, and by doing so you still aren't considered a combatant and they must follow ROE. They can do this by arresting or immobilizing you. Otherwise, for once, if they do kill a civilian that isn't actually a threat, the coalition will face some pretty severe penalties. But as a civilian, you can revive down insurgents, but this means you can be killed. You can also use binocs and a med pack, but playing as a civilian can give this cat and mouse feel to the game by trying to avoid being captured by the coalition and giving away lots of intel.
Fuck you going? Oh no, I dropped my KFC.
And it also makes you as a coalition probably check your targets to make sure you're not killing civilians, because I know I probably killed a couple on accident. Like, this is gonna sound bad, but I see a Middle Eastern person who's looking at me with binoculars, I'm gonna shoot them. that sounds absolutely terrible, I do apologize. But you also do have some other game modes that include vehicle warfare, which allows you to use the vast array of different kinds of vehicles in the game. There's also command and control and skirmish, but most of the time I found myself playing Insurgency and AAS, and also those are the game modes that I had the most fun with. But now I want to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly about Project Reality, because it's not perfect. Sure, you can have a lot more leeway because it's free, but I still want to mention these things. But in terms of good, my favorite thing about the entire game is just my number one thing, and that is the sound design.
Name.
Whoever was responsible for doing it, I hope they went on to do more great things, because I have never shitted my pants more. The sound of tow missiles or stingers being fired just sounds so beefy and deadly and mechanical. Sure, I can't tell you if these guns sound realistic, or the fact that standing next to a tow would probably make you go deaf, but me, it's just so PTSD inducing. I'm sorry, I just love the sound so much. Another thing that I like is the revive system. In Squad, anyone can revive someone as long as you have bandages, and to go back to full health they need to see a medic. But in PR it's similar, however medics have an EpiPen that will bring you back to life, but if a medic dies you can quickly take their role and revive any down teammates before dropping the kit again and getting your original class back. Another thing that I like is the trucks with the fat ass bombs on the back of them. You don't know what true terror is when you see one of these barreling towards you before blowing up your whole squad. Now another good thing is that while there isn't a tutorial per se, there is a game manual that is just fantastic because it covers basically everything that you need to know. And if you ask any experienced player for advice, the first thing they'll probably tell you is to read the game manual, because that's what I got told, and I didn't read it. I graduated high school, I don't need to prove to you that I can read. But in all seriousness, I wish a lot more games had this because it covers everything that you need to know. Other great aspects of this game include teamwork. I very rarely have issues with SLs not doing their jobs or having medics not doing their one job of healing and reviving, but this can be attributed to the fact that more dedicated and experienced players stuck around to play. But regardless, like in every video game that you play, you are going to get people that don't use mics, team kill you for no reason.
Thanks.
Or are literal 12-year-olds who constantly mic spam.
Are we gonna do war crimes? I mean, we're insurgent.
Love this guy. Wait, machete? You're telling me we can behead people?
But compared to all the other games that I play, this has the most consistent experience. But the way PI is designed, it heavily focuses on teamwork. And let me give you an example. On top of regular classes such as Grenadier, Medic, Lat, if you die whilst using these classes, you can respawn with them. But you have specialized roles such as snipers, AA, hats, and many more. And if you lose them, if you give up whilst going down, then you lose that class. And this also encourages you to just wait until a medic is nearby. Now, there isn't many negative things that I can say about this game. Really, it's only issues that affect me, such as having high ping and then the game being a little jank here and there because of the ping, or even putting many bullets into someone and losing one-on-one engagements because of the ping, which, once again, not the game's issue, just my problem. But I want to tell you a little story, and I'm not going to name names, but I was playing on a certain server, and I was playing as, I think, the Middle East Coalition. I can't remember the details, but it was at night, and the opposing faction were wearing a black uniform, right? And I said to my teammates, shoot the people in black. It was something along those lines, like shoot the black people, or like, I know how that sounds. I was in no way talking about skin color. I just thought I should clarify that. I was specifically talking about the uniform, and I had a teammate say, hey, Tantu, don't say that. The admins will ban you for saying that. And I'm like, what? Because at the time, I didn't think it was offensive. I was saying, like, you know, shoot the people in black. And he's like, oh yeah, the admins might think you're being offensive or racist and whatnot. I'm like, okay, I'm not. That's not what I was thinking of. I was speaking purely about uniforms, but whatever, okay. But I have heard some, like, horror stories from this server, from people telling me how they got banned over the littlest of things, which is something I don't understand, because it's a Project Reality server, like 100 people max, 200 people at least a day are playing this game. It's not like some game with thousands of people, and over policing what people say is just a little bit stupid, because you want to remove anything that can be considered offensive. Of course, if someone's going around spamming the N-word, then there's no room for that. But if they make some like edgy joke and they get banned for that, so you don't get a reputation of having that kind of stuff on your servers, just led you to have the reputation of being a server that over polices things. Anyways, I'm gonna end today's video there. I hope you guys did enjoy it, and I do hope that this was better than the last video that I did. Anyways, I do recommend that you check out the video that is on screen, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Peace.